Today on Judge Faith, a gentleman looking for repayment of a very personal loan.
I don't do women's favor unless they do me favor. That's understood with all of my ladies' friends, so they know this up front.
It's just like a marriage. If you're married to someone, the wife, she gives him sex and he pays all the bills. It's no different.
What you're telling me is you were paying the defendant in exchange for sex.
And sometimes you need good fences to have good neighbors.
His dog attacked mine, and ever since then, he's been extremely rude to me. He harasses me, he bullies me when my fiance is not home, when I'm alone.
She's gone and gotten a special needs pit bull since then that's deaf, that she screamed at. Of course the dog's gonna go hide.
Are you a bully, sir?
Faith Jenkins. Her distinguished legal career began when she graduated first in her law school class. She quickly became a tough New York City prosecutor and then a preeminent legal analyst on cable news. And now she's the judge in her own courtroom. Her cases are real and her rulings are final. She is Judge Faith. Plaintiff Donnie Hurst is suing his daughter's best friend for repayment of money he gave her. Defendant Brandy Collins admits she received money from the plaintiff, but says he knew she needed the money and it was a gift.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, this is Hurst versus Collins.
Thank you, Barbara. Okay, Mr. Donnie Hurst?
Yes.
You are suing the defendant, Brandy Collins, for $160 for a loan you say she failed to repay you.
That's correct.
And Ms. Collins, you are countersuing for $1,000 for defamation of character?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Why don't we start with you, sir? Tell me what's going on.
Well, Your Honor, back about a year ago, May 2013, I met Brandon through my daughter, who's 25, and they associate with each other real well.
How old are you, Brandy?
I'm 26.
Okay. And how
My
old are you,
daughter's
sir?
25.
Okay.
And
how old are you?
I'm 58.
All right.
And they're real good friends, and my daughter gets pretty much anything she wants from me, and her and Brandon was a real good friend. And that's how I come to meet Brandon. So Brandon, I guess, needed money on several occasions, and her and I became very good friends. And she's a sweet girl, she's a beautiful girl, and I'm an older guy, I'm single, I'm not married, I don't have a girlfriend, I don't date women. What I do is associate with them favors. And if you want me to be specific, I can do that as well.
No, I don't know what you're talking about when you say favors.
Well, we had sexual favors. And it's strictly business, strictly business.
Excuse me, let's get some order, please.
And it was strictly business. So Brandon knows that I do not lend women's money. I don't do women's favor unless they do me favor. That's understood with all of my ladies' friends. So they know this up front. And I have evidence to prove that from the year or so that her and I have been friends.
Okay, so you're saying that the two of you had a sexual relationship.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Well, what is the loan? I don't understand how that relates to $160.
This particular loan, her and I have had a relationship over a year ago. So we've been involved down through the months leading up to this last loan. I've lent her money from time. I never loaned because she always paid in favors. So she gave me, I gave her. I never gave her any money up front. I always, whenever she came to me, she took care of me, I paid her.
Okay, so now that I have a clearer understanding.
Well, I hope you really do have a clear understanding.
No, I have a
you
clear
seem to be
understanding,
a little.
sir. No, I have a clear understanding, and I'm not a little anything.
Okay.
What you're telling me is you were paying the defendant in exchange for sex.
Exactly.
Okay, so let me tell you something, because
Please
I
do.
understand exactly what's going on. And you're from what state?
State of Georgia, Peach State of Georgia.
Okay, so I don't care what you call it. You can call it favors. You can call it a business transaction, sir.
Your Honor, it was a business transaction.
It
wasn't favor, it was business.
I am speaking. You can call it whatever you want to call it. In your state, it is called prostitution.
Well,
and it is illegal. And it is illegal. Okay. What's going on, ma'am?
I was stranded in Florida. We have been friends for a while, maybe about 2 years now. I was stranded in Florida. We had prior conversations about the transaction for sexual favors or whatever. we haven't had any sexual relations for about a year and a half now. It's been a while.
That's not true.
So when he asked me, he texted me and asked me, okay, can we hook up? I lost complete contact with him. He'd seen
Why
me.
why would you agree to do something like this in the very beginning? I mean,
Your Honor.
you're obviously. I'm speaking, sir. Do not speak right now.
I'm a single parent. I'm in college. It's hard.
I was in college. I was broke. I had no money. I get it. But
we all do different things.
There's not enough money in the universe for this man to be able to pay me to have sex with him. You understand?
Well, I don't know.
That's understood, but that's you and I'm me. We're two totally different people. Things happen in our lives where we do stuff. It's just like a marriage. If you're married to someone, the wife, she gives him sex and he pays all the bills. It's no different.
This is totally different. This is totally different because in your state, it is actually illegal and a crime. And you guys can come in here and try to paint this in a different picture and describe it in whatever way you want to.
I was never on the corner.
This is not painting anything. It is what
yes,
it is.
It is, sir.
Your Honor,
yes,
people come to reason for many different reasons. Right now, you might be lonely, want to be with me, but you ain't woman enough to say it.
Listen, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, sir.
Things.
Let me tell you something. Everyone does things in their private lives. Everyone has skeletons in their closet. But you're bringing this to my courtroom today, and I'm going to address it. If you don't want to hear the truth, then don't come in my courtroom.
The truth doesn't bother me. I don't
have
have a wife. I don't have a girlfriend. I'm not dating anybody. So what is that to make me feel bad about? Nothing.
Because
I do what I do, and they come to me for what they need. So I give them what they need. They give me what I need, and we're done. She go her way, I go my way.
And guess
we
what?
don't come together.
Your case, it is prostitution. If you came into this courtroom and told me that you sold drugs to the defendant, I sold heroin to the defendant, she didn't pay me back, and I'm suing right now because she owes me money for the heroin. Guess what? I'm not going to hear that case because you are bringing an illegal
You know why
act
we're
into.
here, Your Honor?
Do not
we are
interrupt
here because
me.
she
Do
did
not interrupt me,
pay,
sir.
and we didn't have sex on this.
Sir, and what I'm telling you is you entered into an illegal agreement that no court in America will enforce because it is prostitution. Do you understand? Do you understand me?
Coming up, Judge Faith tells it like it is.
What if you meet someone like him who's willing to pay you and they don't get what they want? They may not end up taking you to court. They may end up taking you to a back alley. What are you going to do then? You have a child you have to think about and consider.
And later, who let the dogs in?
Whose dog bit my dog then?
Her dog, we don't know. It happened in a situation.
But it was one of your dogs.
No, you can't say that. Were you there to see it?
Are you saying that perhaps it was her other dog that
It very
bit?
well could have been.
Plaintiff Donnie Hurst is suing his daughter's best friend for repayment of money he gave her. Defendant Brandy Collins admits she received money from the plaintiff, but says he knew she needed the money and it was a gift.
Life is about choices, and everyone makes choices in their lives. There are some things you can't choose. You can't choose when you're born, where you're born, who you are born to, but
Correct.
you can choose how you live.
Correct.
All I'm saying
Which
to
is
you,
why
all
I
I'm saying to you,
didn't engage.
All I am saying to you, ma'am, is you are young, you're in college. Don't make choices. You're making choices for today. I want you to think about tomorrow. Because what if you meet someone like him who's willing to pay you and they don't get what they want? They may not end up taking you to court. They may end up taking you to a back alley. What are you going to do then? You have a child you have to think about and consider, okay? Your counterclaim is dismissed. Your case is dismissed, and if I were you, I would be embarrassed to even bring a lawsuit like
Your Honor,
this, sir.
I'm not.
Absolutely embarrassed.
She did
Dismissed.
not perform
Go
what
home.
she agreed to do.
Plaintiff Autumn Newberry is suing her neighbor for vet bills and trauma. Her dog was attacked by his. Defendant Brent Ward says the plaintiff can't prove that it was his dog who did the damage.
Okay, Autumn Newberry, you are suing the defendant, Brent Ward, for $500 for vet bill and psychological damage to your dog. And Mr. Ward, you are countersuing for $1,000 for misuse of the common area, unauthorized use of storage, garbage removal, and lost wages.
Correct.
Why don't you start, Ms. Newberry, and tell me what happened here?
Okay, so basically his dog attacked mine, and ever since then, he's been extremely rude to me. He harasses me, he bullies me when my fiance is not home, when I'm alone. He refused to pay the vet bill, and he never apologized, and I care about my dog, so.
Are you a bully, sir?
I'm not a bully.
What kind of place do you live in, and how is he your neighbor?
Well, it's kind of weird. His house can be seen from the street, and then on the side there's a driveway, and then there's a door to a common backyard that we share, and then my house is behind there.
Let's look at the yard. Okay.
Okay, so that white door, that's the only
left?
way to enter into my house, yes, on the
Okay.
left. That sliding glass door is Brent's back sliding glass door, so that yard right there is the shared yard.
You have dogs as well, right?
I do.
How many dogs do you have?
At the time, I had 2. I now have 3.
And how many did you have at that
2
time?
as well.
Okay, so prior to the dog incident, what was the relationship like between the two of you sharing the yard?
It was fine. I've never had a problem with it.
It didn't exist. Everybody gets along with her fiance, essentially until Autumn gets home. And then he shuts down. She's never come out of her shell. I don't even honestly remember an introduction.
Okay,
That's
but you were friendly
true.
with her fiance.
Yeah.
How long did you live in the house before the date of this incident with the dogs?
It was almost 3 months.
So for 3 months, the dogs would see each other and play together and there was no issue?
For 3 months, we'd both leave our doors open.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of dogs do you have?
I have a dachshund and a boxer.
And what about you?
I have a pit bull and I really don't know. I think she's an Australian Shepherd pit bull.
What date did the incident happen where you say your dog was injured?
That was on April 29th.
And what happened that day?
I was at work, so my fiance was home. It was the same situation where both of our doors were open, and our dogs were in Brent's house, actually.
How did they get over there?
His door was open. They let them in.
So I want you to take me through that very clearly, though. Your dogs were in the backyard, and the backsliding door to your house was open that
Yeah,
day?
all the doors were open again. So their front door was open, my back door was open. The dogs were in and out of my house, their house, and the yard.
So they sort of roam freely
Yeah.
throughout
Yeah.
between the houses, and that's happened on occasion?
It had gone on for almost 3 months at that point.
Okay. So what happens next?
So my fiance heard my dog screaming. He said he's never heard him make that sound before, so obviously he ran over.
To the defendant's house?
Correct. And then my dog, Phineas, he ran outside. He wouldn't let anyone touch him.
Where's your fiance today?
He's at work.
So I'll hear the hearsay. Go ahead.
So he ran out to see what was wrong with him. My dog wouldn't let anyone touch him. And then finally, when my fiance was able to get close enough to him, he saw that there was a gash on the top of his head and then at his neck, kind of like, like his head was inside of the larger dog's mouth.
Did you see what happened with the dogs?
No, no one did. I mean, really,
Were there
nobody.
any injuries to your dogs?
No.
Okay. Do you have photos of the injuries?
I do.
May I see them?
Yes.
So you take the dog and...
No, I couldn't. I
That's
was
after
working
the
at the
vet.
time.
Okay.
My wife loaded her fiance and the dog into our vehicle.
Into the vet?
This was
to
not
take the dog to the
voluntary.
vet.
My fiance had to beg them while Brent sat
That-
on his phone and completely ignored
That is
him.
100% not true. I was working on a conference call. My wife is a homemaker. She was available to do it. I wasn't. My wife loaded them in the car to take them to the vet. En route to the vet, Autumn finally responded to her fiance's texts and calls. When she responded on the phone, my fiance's driving them to the vet. She goes into a jealous fit of rage, screaming at on the phone, "Why on earth would you be in a car with her? You have no business being in a car with that woman." We were taking the dog to the vet. She had us turn around and take the dog to a tanning salon.
Is that
I
true?
worked at a tanning salon. I wanted to see my dog before he went to the vet because the way my fiance was describing it was
But did you yell
really
at him
bad.
for being in the car with the
I
defendant's
yelled
wife?
at him for not calling me. I didn't know that he called me. I wasn't allowed to have my phone at
So
work.
it wasn't about the defendant's wife. It was
No,
just about
I
the
know her,
dog.
and
Okay.
I have no problem with that. But I did want to see my dog before he went, so he came and picked up the car and then drove to the vet.
Okay, let's see the photo of the injuries.
That's after the vet.
Okay,
so after
did he
cleaned it
get
up.
stitches or what was the
No,
treatment
they
at the
just
vet?
gave him a sedative. They just cleaned it up. They
Was he
gave
okay
him,
after this? Did
He honestly, physically, he was okay, but he's not the same. He scares really easily. He's never been like that. he hides under their table sometimes when he hears like a loud noise.
Right. It was a
He's
traumatic experience.
Right.
Coming up on Judge Faith, the trauma goes well beyond the dog's injuries.
There's so much anxiety for me to even like be in the same room as him right now because he's yelled at me, he threw my stuff at me, he brought in another woman who I don't even know, and she was physically touching my things and throwing them at me.
Plaintiff Autumn Newberry is suing her neighbor for vet bills after claiming his dog attacked her Dachshund. Defendant Brent Ward says he offered to split the bill, but they never spoke another word.
So you take the dog to the vet, he's treated, and what's the conversation between the two of you? I understand that you agreed to pay a portion of the vet bill, but you didn't, so what happened?
There was no conversation, there was no
That's not
apology,
true.
there was
That's not true at all.
nothing actually at all. We walked right past his house, he was still on his phone.
And what's your version of this? Your
So
dog.
on-
so you
on
know
multiple
that
occasions, I've
you do
offered-
agree that your
That is
dog
not true.
bit her dog,
Absolutely.
right? Okay.
No, absolutely not. Excuse me. I was agreeing that I offered to pay.
Whose dog bit my dog then?
Bit her dog? We don't know. It happened in a
But it was
situation.
one of your dogs.
No, you can't say that. Were you there to see it?
Are you saying that perhaps it was her other dog?
It
that
very well could have been. And
Altercation.
since then, since the dog has now apparently suffered psychological damages, she's gone and gotten a special needs pit bull since then that's deaf that she screams at. Of course the dog's gonna go hide.
Did you go get
What
a third?
are you
You got another
talking about?
dog, a third dog?
We did get a third dog.
The two of you, were you getting along after this? What happened to the
the
relationship?
He's
relationship
a
fell apart.
bully. There's so much anxiety for me to even like be in the same room as him right now because he's yelled at me, he threw my stuff at me, he brought in another woman who I don't even know, and she was physically touching my things and throwing them at me.
What is that about?
That was me removing her things from my storage unit. If we're able to bring up the first picture that Autumn had of the yard.
Sure. This is
there's
about
a-
your counterclaim.
Yeah, on the far right of that picture, there's a cellar.
Which belongs
that
to no
cellar is
one.
my private yard, my private storage space. When they moved in, without asking, without saying anything to me, they loaded their stuff into my storage.
The owner said we could. He said it was
The
a
owner
shared
did not
storage.
say that she could.
Is that your misuse of the common area?
No, that's the unauthorized use of my storage. The misuse of the common area, I haven't been able to use the backyard, the common area of the backyard, since she got the third dog. They also have a private yard.
So do
What
you.
about the garbage removal?
You have a private yard as well.
They never once removed their garbage cans to the street, not once.
Why is she liable to you for damages because they
I
didn't
was
take their
forced
garbage
to
out?
remove her garbage.
Who forced you? Really, what would
I'd
have
rather
happened?
not
My
have a-
garbage would not have been taken out. Nothing
I can show
would
you.
have
I
happened.
can show you a
That's
couple
on-
of photos, Your Honor, if you'd like, of literally garbage that is piled out of their garbage cans because I
How
couldn't
does
take it
that
out.
affect
Okay.
you?
Let's get back to the issue with the dog. At some point,
Yep.
you agreed to pay for a portion of the vet bill.
On the night of the incident, her fiance mentioned that the bill for the vet was about $306 or something like that. I offered to pay half that vet bill.
No, you
And
did
so-
not.
Immediately, I offered
Did
to
you
pay
pay
half that
half?
bill.
Why would
No,
I
I didn't.
sue you?
He said, "Sure, we'll talk about it."
That never happened.
And you never-
Communication stopped.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
Your dogs were in his home, and you told me that for 3 months you guys lived in this property. It was common for your dogs and his dogs to be back and forth into each other's homes, and you knew, your fiance knew, that the dogs were over there. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to dismiss your claim against the defendant. He's not obligated legally to pay for the vet bill. In terms of your counterclaim, sir, it seems that a lot of these issues came up after the relationship broke down between the two of you as a result of this dog bite. You don't own this property, so you don't have standing to sue. So on your counterclaim 0, I understand you're moving?
Yes.
When?
At the end of this month, the 31st.
Okay, that's a great decision. I think you should move, and you guys should not have shared yards. And don't share yards. That's what you take away from this case. No shared yards. Have a good day.
Wait here a minute. Go ahead next.